Hi, welcome to Race Louvers. Today we're going to talk about the basics of race louvers and how they work. The first order of business is trim levels. We offer 3 different trim levels, and that has to do with how tall the extractors are above the surface. This is the RX version. It's our most aggressive and the most high performing one, and as you can see it's quite tall. And our next version is the RT, we refer to the track version, and it still has a fairly high wicker, but it's not so tall. And then we have our RS, which we call the street version, because it has a lower profile wicker and generally looks pretty good on a nice street car. Okay, and the RS ones are the lowest performing ones, even though they perform quite well still. They're just not as aggressive as the tall RX versions. Next, we have a variety of shapes, what we call styles. Okay, this is our first one. This would be the what we call the center extractor. It's a single piece, one large unit. Okay, and the center extractors, if you look on the website, we outline all the styles and the sizes and more so the angles, so that you can get a reference on how they are. We have 4 degrees on the sides, 3 degrees on the fronts and the tops. Okay, and that kind of blends in good with a lot of body lines that come on typical car hoods. Our next version would be what we call center pairs. They're exactly like the center one, where we have 3 degrees on the tops and 3 degrees on the bottom, and the sides, the outsides would be 4 degrees, and in the center here is 0. So if you have a hood where you have a center body line, and you can't really get a single piece in there without having to bend it, which we don't recommend, you could simply get the same size, just in a 2-piece. And then you can spread it out ever so slightly to go around your body line. Okay, and those are the center and center pairs. Next one we have is what we call mid pairs. They could go anywhere from sort of in the center of the hood all the way out to the sides. But these have a little bit slightly different angles to them. Okay, so our mid pairs come with 6 degrees on the top and the bottom, and they come with 4 on the side here and 8 on the side here. So if you have a center pair already on the car, okay, you have your 4 degrees here and your 4 degrees here, and they would line up very nicely when installed together on a hood for maximum use. And then also the 8 degrees on the side would coincide with any body lines that are typically found on the car. Okay, and so with these having 6 degrees in the top and the bottom, it's very possible that you can use these by themselves. Okay, you could put them in the center of the hood, parallel like that, or they could be angled like this. Okay, they could be separated. So we've designed a lot of these with certain angles so that they work with each other and they work with the body lines on a lot of production hoods. And also the fact that you can rotate them for fitment on your car and how they would look. Okay, so that's our mid pair. And then, let's see, we talked about that. So our next would be our kind of basic model, which we call our straight pairs. Okay, so these are identical. Okay, and they come in pairs as well, but they're straight, so they're 90 degrees, 0 degrees all around, and these could go on a variety of different cars where maybe the body lines are kind of squarish, if you will. So that's our straight extractors. And then we have what we call our straight angular. Okay, so these, okay, they have 10 degrees here on the top, bottom, and 10 degrees on the top, and the sides are 0 and 0. Okay, so these have a lot of flexibility in how you can rotate and angle them. So again, we can stick them in the center of a car hood separated like this, We can spread them far apart, put them closer together, we can angle them, and we got 10 degrees to play with, so you got a lot of room for what you might like. And this is our straight angular extractors. Okay. Let me just pick up this one. So those are our styles that we offer, and all of these are universal fit for any car hood. We don't typically get involved with making extractors for a specific car where there may be structure under the hood and the customer doesn't want to cut out the structure because maybe they think it's going to weaken the hood. Well, we don't do that because it completely hinders performance, and a lot of times, even with factory vents that come on cars that may be cosmetic and you want to replace it with something that works, a lot of times those vents are not at an optimal location, and we're all about performance, so we're not going to do that. We tell you to find the best spot on your hood, and we'll go through that in a minute, and to actually cut the structure out, throw the structure in the garbage, because you're buying these things to work, and that's what we're all about. So we're all universal, so these can go on pretty much any car and any location on the hood. We have fender extractors coming out soon, but they're sort of still in development. Maybe this summer I'm thinking we'll probably have those. Also, to go along with these things is we have a variety of sizes. Okay, so our depth from top to bottom, we have a range from 11.5 to 19.5 inches. And then the width on the pairs can go from 7 inches to 12 inches. Okay, and so if you combine that and the bigger one, the way we list it on the website is if this was a 7-inch, we actually give the total width of both of them like this. So we describe it as a 14-inch when each one would be 7, and then whatever the height would be. So variety of widths, variety of depths, and then you have your choice of trims for how much performance you're looking to achieve. Okay, and then one of the most important things about the way these are designed and the way that these should be installed, it's not critical, but it's important because you're buying a performance piece. You should really install it in an optimum location so you can get what you're looking for. So the best location, generally speaking, is 2 inches behind the radiator or the radiator fan shroud. Okay, because what we're doing is we're cutting a hole in the hood and we're creating an entirely new flow path in the engine compartment. So a lot of companies and stuff that make these extractors don't necessarily think about what happens after you cut a hole in the hood, because everything changes, all your pressure maps and all that business. So in any case, the optimum location for a race louver hood extractor is approximately, or at least, 2 inches behind the radiator or the fan shroud. Okay, that gives the air coming out of the radiator a chance to actually turn and come up vertical in the engine compartment. And then the back of the hood louver, we recommend in the center of the hood that it be somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 24 inches away from the cowl or the base of the windshield, where the hood and the windshield meet. That's going to be your high pressure zone, and your hood may be like this and your glass may be like this. And as your vehicle speed increases, you're going to start to form that cowl bubble. Okay, and eventually it's going to turn from a curve into a straight matter. And so your high pressure zone that's sitting on the hood is going to start to extend forward with vehicle speed. And so in the center is where most of that pressure is. And so we don't recommend, we recommend that it's 20 to 24 inches, give or take, depends on the car, but generally speaking, that's our recommendation. And if you take some of these long ones and say you want to put them on the sides of the hood, they can actually extend a little bit closer to the windshield, maybe 16 to 20 inches. Okay, so that's pretty important. So the best location to actually install one of these is right in the middle, right behind, 2 inches behind the radiator or the fan shroud. That's the best place, whether you're using a single giant one piece or a double piece, or even anything like this that's sort of in the middle. Okay? Next best place is you could spread them out. They can be on the sides. That's quite fine. That works very well. And obviously, the best scenario, if you're just looking your time attack, you know, all aero, whatever, spending your money like crazy, your best scenario is to have big one in the middle, okay, and then a bunch of pair of side ones on the sides. That's actually probably the best performing setup. And when we do that, we typically like to recommend the larger trim in the middle, and then the next size smaller on the sides, because what happens is the air that's in the center of the vehicle typically goes over the roof, and the increase in drag is not very much. As you get towards the sides of the hood, the air rolls off the side of the vehicle and doesn't go over the hood, and that's what we're looking at. Okay, so next thing you see behind me is we have some templates. So each vent comes with a template. You would take your template, okay, it's got a cut line, and then it's got an outer perimeter, so you can just cut it out, slop it on your hood, figure out where you like it, play with it, and eventually, if you're satisfied, you can tape it down, mark up your hood, follow the instructions, and do the installation procedure. So each extractor set comes with a template. In fact, we offer downloads on the website where you could go to a particular product. You're looking at a size. If you go in the items product description, you're going to see a PDF link to the template. So you can actually download the template. Now, I know you can't print the templates at home unless you got a big printer, which nobody probably does. But a great resource for this is Staples, actually. So if you go to Staples' website and you go to Engineering Blueprints, there's a section in there where you can upload the file that you just pulled off of our website. And the important thing is when you put it on the Staples website, there's a section there called comments. You want to type in there, please print the actual size. Okay? And then Staples will print it off at the tune of $1 or $2. And you can stop by your local store, pick it up, bring it home, cut it out. You can print 10 of them. And then that gives you the opportunity to print a couple of these templates, lay them out on your hood, kind of figure out what you want before you buy it, which is a nice feature. Okay, so now we're going to get into the race louver itself and its design. So the race louver itself is designed to create an extreme amount of low pressure just behind it and above the blades. Okay, so what happens is we have our wicker in the front here. Okay, and the wicker is what happens is it creates a high pressure in the front, sort of like a spoiler on the back of the car, and then behind it, it leaves a low pressure zone. And then what that does is that creates a whole section here behind the vent of low pressure, which pulls the air from the engine compartment. And since we placed this directly behind the radiator, not too close to the hood, we have a pretty good suction here. And then we're pulling the air from just above the radiator location, which creates a whole new flow path for the air in an engine compartment. Typically in an engine compartment, your airflow path is in through the nose, mostly through the bottom of the radiator, and then out the bottom of the car, because what happens is the air more or less hits the engine block and it scatters in all four directions, up, down, left, and right. Okay, but it can't go up because you have a hood, can't go to the sides because it's all enclosed, and so it winds up going down underneath the engine. That's your typical common flow path. But as soon as you put a hole in the top of the hood in the proper location, you're going to have a secondary or a second airflow path. This is where all the performance typically comes from. So you're going to have significantly more airflow coming through the radiator and engine compartment. And what that does is that increases the cooling by a lot, 2.5 times or more, depending on stuff. So that's basically how a race louver works. We actually extract air. A lot of vents just sit on the hood and just typically rely on differential pressure, which is negligible. So that's the basics of a race louver. Each one of these blades, as you can see, is actually different. They're not cookie cutter. Each blade is a different shape, size, and so that's what makes this thing work pretty good. So these are designed more or less for serious airflow through the radiator. They're also designed to work in conjunction with our grill blocker kits. Okay, now this is probably something new to a lot of people, but it's commonplace in a lot of racing world. So we sell a grill blocker kit, and basically what that does is you would comes with an instruction manual. Okay, comes with some cardboard that you would use as a template. You get it on your car, figure out what part of your grill that you want to block. Typically we recommend that you make small pieces and actually block the sides first and reduce the radiator inlet towards the middle of the car. That showed most downforce and least drag in the wind tunnel. So that's what we recommend. So you would take these cardboards, there's enough here to make 4. You can cut these in half, you can make 4 pieces, come in the side, make some templates, make sure it's what you like, and then we provide some nice looking textured ABS plastic sheets, just the right flexibility. And so you would cut out your final panels from this, and maybe you would wind up with something like this. This is from a test car. Okay, so this fits in your hood nicey nice. This would be where the radiator opening would be. Okay, and so there's 2 ways that you can, well, it's more than 2 ways, but there's 2 ways you can attach this. Some people, when they get it all settled and they're done, they like to put it behind the grill, so it kind of blacks it out, but it's not too visible. Our kit comes with zip ties, so if you want to just zip it on there, that's nice and easy. But the thing that I like the best is ours comes with 3 feet of 2-inch wide Velcro, sticky back Velcro. And one of the things that we like the best is you can use the Velcro. You could put a couple of pieces on the back here, put a couple of pieces small on the grill of your car, and then you can take these when you go to the track and just stick them right on there. Yeah, they don't fly off, believe it or not. So you stick them right on there, have your track weekend, your track day, okay, and then when you go home, you just pull them off like you change your race tires and throw all the stuff back in your car. And then the great thing about these grill blockers is if you don't have enough cooling, you kind of overdid it, you could simply just trim them down, take 1 inch off, stick them back on the car. Makes a world of difference. So to get back to airflow, maximum cooling, so if you just drop these race louvers on your car and leave your factory grill opening, which is fine, you're going to get tons of airflow, you're going to get significant cooling, and you're going to have the maximum cooling. Some people need that. Some people have a cooling issue. Some people have too much horsepower. And in any case, you can just use these plain like that, and you would achieve your maximum cooling, and it still produces downforce. I think the wind tunnel had this at somewhere around 13 or 14 pounds of downforce. Not much, but it's something. And at the same time, it's giving you maximum cooling. Now you couple a race louver extractor with a grill blocker because you're looking for all the performance. You're slapping on race tires. You got race pads. You're looking to go fast. This is the way to do it. So you can restrict, believe it or not, you can restrict a lot of cars' front grill openings by a lot. And the best way to do that, which we detail in the instructions, is to take some tape. Okay, after you've installed your race louvers, you can bring your grill blocker kit with you to the track. Take some tape and just start taping off from the outside in. make some test runs. You can also start somewhere in the middle to guesstimate, that's fine. You just got to make sure you watch the engine temperatures. Okay, you don't want to cook your engine. So you'd start to tape off until a point where the car starts to exceed its thermostat rating. Now most cars have 195, 205 thermostat in them, so you're not going to see your engine start to creep up typically until some point. And as soon as you start to see it, so it's 210, 215, you know you're at the point of maximum tapage, depending on what temperatures you like. Now, race car world, people are running road race 230 is commonplace. You want to look at the guys on TV, they're running 260. So it's possible. 220, 230 is commonplace in the track world, even for most cars. So even though you have that 200-degree thermostat, you can tape it off just till where you see it creeps, maybe 210. That'd be a good place to leave it. If you want a little extra insurance, you can just make it a little bit bigger. And what happens is, as soon as you block off your front grille, now you are not relying on the pressure from the nose of the car to force air through the radiator. You're relying on the suction to actually pull the air through the radiator instead of pushing it. So what's the difference? So when you install these without the grille blockers, you got pressure in the front coupled with suction on the back, which is where you get more than 2 times your airflow through the radiator and your significant cooling. And on a typical production car, it's all force-fed in the front, and so you're pressurizing the front of the radiator, and then that in turn pressurizes the engine bay, which is where a lot of your vehicle lift comes from. It's not much pressure, but spread out over a hood that's 48 inches by 60 inches. That's a lot of surface area. So installing one of these with some grille blockers, you convert your cooling system from pressurized system to a suction system. And so now instead of forcing the air in, you're getting the high pressure in the engine bay, which gives you lift. Okay, you're restricting the grille opening, reducing that pressure. You get the suction effect here from our extractors, and now you're getting just enough cooling to cool your vehicle with the blockers, but your pressure inside the engine bay is drastically lower. To give you an idea, our test vehicle produced 40 pounds of downforce with a piece of plastic or some tape and one of these, 40 pounds of downforce, still enough to cool the car. So that's drastic. That's pretty good bang for your buck. So that's basically how a race louver actually works. So let's see, I think last on the topic was to tell you guys about the 4 basic, what we call the 4 basic benefits of a race louver. So one, if you use with the grille blocker kit, or you simply just want to carry some tape in your car and do it the old school way, these things will achieve maximum downforce. And the other way that you can use these is just leave your front grille wide open, original, put these on, and you get your maximum cooling. And then if you want to go somewhere in between with some tape or maybe a little grille blocker, whatever you like. That's 2 things. The other thing is, with the extra cooling comes lower engine bay temperatures. Not necessarily a big thing in the racing world, but some people like that. But there is significant drop in engine bay temperatures when you have it in maximum cooling. But one of the things that I think a lot of people overlook is what we call zero-speed cooling. Now, this may come into play more so in track cars, race cars, stuff like that, than a street car. But what happens is we design these, you can look right here, maximum open area. You'll see a lot of hood vent designs, whether the old stamped hot rod louvers or even the generic louvers that are part of your fiberglass hood or your carbon fiber hood if you're that fancy. You'll notice a lot of those, if you look at them from a vertical point, they're fairly closed off, and that doesn't allow a lot of vertical heat to escape. So if you notice with ours, especially the RX version, it's pretty wide open. It's as wide open as we can get it before it actually starts to impact the performance of downforce and cooling. So zero speed cooling is something you guys should look into. Couple of the best places this is for is you're in a road racing event, you're running a race, all of a sudden they throw the red flag, you got to park your car on track instantly for safety purposes, and now you're sitting there baking. Sure, some people may have a fan, but that kind of sucks down the battery. Some people have these tiny batteries, but my point being is that you park the car, the thing's a billion degrees, and now you at least have some cooling effect going on. And I guess this may even come into play if you're, I'm going to cruise the strip on Saturday night with my buddies and I'm doing 5 miles an hour down the road. It still helps. It's probably not as important as downforce and cooling, but radiator cooling when you're racing, but it's definitely a benefit. I think I've covered it all. Please check out our website. We have lots of stuff on there. You can email us, call us. We have a Facebook page. Follow us on there because we're constantly updating stuff, and you can just be caught in the loop with that. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube videos, and we'll probably have some more coming talking about different various stuffs. All right, thank you very much. Have a good day.